Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the male soap opera moment right here in Wenz World, featuring the one, the only, the wrestling encyclopedia, Vincent Kennedy Boochie.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the King in Gold has returned with a sad, pathetic score of 3-2. And I say that for both of us because we had so many picks. 2 went completely the other way, but 2 went in my favor, as well as the Almighty, which we both picked. But yes, I am still the reigning, defending, undisputed king of predictions. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the champ looking as good as only he can look.
Is it too early to start drinking?
I don't know. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, indeed. As Funaki would say. Man, let's bring them back to Money in the Bank briefly. You mentioned what we shared. You mentioned where we differed, and then you mentioned the results. Neither of us got the Money in the Bank matches correct.
None of us.
Swerved big time.
Those are probably the best swerves ever.
Yeah.
Because I remember you said you wanted Nikki to win.
Yeah.
But we both kind of sat there and went, she's not going to win. And she wins.
And it was the rebranding. It's the almost superhero thing that put her across the line, and it works.
And what's funny is people thought it was a joke. Well, it ain't a joke anymore, because not only, here's the best part, and we're not going to jump ahead to the other match, but not only did she win the briefcase, the next night she cashes in, and now she's the champ.
It's amazing.
She's
Finally,
the women's champion going into SummerSlam. I mean,
finally, the creative room is getting something right.
Yes.
It's refreshing. It's so refreshing. But Booch, I don't like to dwell on the past. We'd probably sit here longer if, the results were different. But for the sake of continuity and show and flow, let's keep it moving, baby. Let's move it to the 34th annual biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam, one of the big 4 that WWE presents to us on the calendar. But we got some big matches ahead, some spotlights, some showcases, some iconic men of old, of renown, coming back to grace the squared circle from the old school, the days of WCW. He's back, Booch. Bill Goldberg making his appearance. We can talk about this analytically from his contract perspective, how that will look. Does this match afford him an all but guarantee to be champion? So I want to get your take on that, but also the match itself.
Well, obviously, I don't care what anybody says. When Goldberg comes back, it's going to be something big. I will admit, I would not have picked Bobby Lashley to be the opponent for Goldberg, because everybody knows that when it comes to Bobby Lashley, everybody was expecting and wanting him versus Brock. Him and Lesnar is the dream match. But for whatever reason, we got Goldberg, but Goldberg's been making it work. I love the fact that he's been not only able to do well in the rivalry, but also remind people, look, everybody keeps talking about how old Goldberg is, and he's trying to explain to people, I'm still Goldberg. So don't think because I'm like 50 something that I can't kick somebody's ass. And the fact is he could. So it's going to make for a great match. And as far as how it's going to go, I don't see a scenario where Bobby Lashley wins this match. I really don't. I can only think of one way he wins, and that is Goldberg goes for a spear, Lashley misses, he goes headfirst into the ring post, and instead of being legit concussed like he was with The Undertaker, he gets kayfabe concussed, and Lashley locks in the Hurt Locker from that, and he passes out that way. But I don't see Lashley dominating Goldberg in any way. So if Lashley wins, that's how he does it. But I believe Goldberg is winning this match, and I see 2 ways he wins. One, he hits a couple spears, nails the jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, walks out of Vegas, WWE champion. Or at one point in the match, MVP interferes and Goldberg wins via disqualification. Then Goldberg snaps, takes out MVP, takes out Bobby Lashley, spear, jackhammer, walks out. Big E cashes in, takes the belt from Bobby Lashley, comes to Raw, reunites the New Day, and the New Day sticks to Bobby Lashley and gets the last laugh.
Wow. I 100% played that out of my mind, and it 100% makes sense.
Yeah. He's been feuding with the New Day. So what better way to stick it to him one last time than Big E doing what Kofi couldn't, take the belt from Bobby Lashley?
Do you think that WWE really wants to pull the trigger with Big E? I know it makes sense in light of what happened at Money in the Bank, but do you think they'll do it this early on in the calendar? A cash
I
in?
don't I don't know. I mean, why wait? You got a crowd back, and I've been hearing, and from what I'm hearing, I've been hearing rumors that, and again, these are all conspiracy theories that I've been hearing, is that, there might be a second shutdown coming up. So I'd say capitalize while fans are here. Don't wait till there's no fans anymore, because I heard there might be a second round of this. I don't know if it's true, but I got friends who are conspiracy theorists that are telling me all this stuff, and it's like, oh crap. So I say we just got fans back. Don't make them wait. They've waited long enough for everything.
So you're telling me that you think Goldberg is walking out WWE champion?
Or winning via disqualification. But either way, Goldberg wins this match.
Okay, so our prediction is based on solely who wins, not who is champion after this match.
Exactly. That's how you got the 1 point from me when Rhea got disqualified and Charlotte won the match. That's how you got the point. It's who wins, not who walks out with the belt.
I just wanted to be sure because, in the past where I've won, you always have questions about the integrity of the outcome. You always demand an audit. So I just want to be clear that after SummerSlam and we have a new champion, there shall be no questions.
Yes. And even if Goldberg gets DQ and they don't pull the trigger with Big E and Lashley keeps the belt around his waist, that's still a point for me. It's who wins the match, not who walks out with the belt necessarily.
So you're going with Goldberg to win this match?
Goldberg, yes, I am.
Can you narrow it down a little further? Like, I think you need to predict how it happens if you're going to pick Goldberg.
Okay.
And I'll predict how it's going to happen with whom I select.
Okay. So I'm saying Goldberg gets disqualified because I don't think they want Goldberg to be champion. And then Big E would cash in later. So I think Goldberg's getting a DQ win. I don't think Goldberg is going to decisively beat Lashley. I don't think Lashley's going to decisively beat Goldberg.
Okay, I'm going to take Lashley in this one.
Okay.
Straight up. With a little distraction from MVP, I think we're going to see Goldberg's son. I think he's going to get his, against MVP. MVP put his hands on him a couple weeks back, and then Goldberg came back down the ramp to give him the business, and he was hurt. So I'm also kind of wondering what's going on with this Kane thing, because he dropped it for a minute. Now he's got it back. And I really think that at this point, MVP should ditch the cane for good.
I don't know. I like managers having a cane works because it gives you something to use to knock out an opponent as a manager. It's like whether it's a cane or like Jim Cornette used to use a tennis racket. Paul Heyman, when he was in WCW, he used to have a phone, like one of those old like 1980 style phones that were like as big as your head. He would hit people with that. Or even Mr. Fuji when he would throw salt in people's faces. Like every manager had a thing they used to knock somebody out because a manager's not allowed to be stronger than a wrestler. So you can't punch him. Yeah. But if you have a blunt instrument and you knock them out, that looks real because I don't care how tough you are. You get hit in the head with a cane, it's going to hurt you.
I mean, but I haven't really seen him do that much with that cane.
I think it's because Lashley's never had an opponent that MVP had to worry about. Now he's got Goldberg.
So do you predict him to use the cane as a weapon, as an equalizer? Okay.
Cause a DQ because Goldberg is somebody you got to worry about. You didn't have to worry about Lashley when he fought Kofi Kingston.
Right. Totally.
You don't have to worry about him against Xavier Woods, or so they thought. And even Drew McIntyre, like for whatever reason, they never wanted to do it with Drew. But I think Goldberg's the perfect time to do it because Goldberg is a menace. He's a badass. He's tough. He'll destroy people.
Well, so there we have it. First match. You got Goldberg. I got Lashley. Our first point of disagreement. We're on the right track, Booch. Let's keep it moving. Let's talk a little bit of the almost superhero, the aforementioned Nikki Cross, taking on Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. Booch, you chose first last time. Man, for some reason, I feel like Nikki ASH is going to keep the championship, so I'm going to go with Nikki ASH.
Okay. I want Nikki to keep this belt. She deserves to keep this belt. But every time I see triple threat match, I get scared.
In Charlotte's name.
In the name of the Queen of Privilege. because
Here we go.
Yes.
Here we go. Here we go on the hate train.
Yes.
You're a hate follower, aren't you?
Dude.
I bet you follow her just to at her all the time.
The words that came out of my mouth when she won at Money in the Bank, I can't even repeat here because I'm sure there's children listening. So out of respect for them, I won't say what I said, but trust me, if you know Vinny Bucci, you know what came out of my mouth. I was livid. I almost broke my computer screen in a fit of rage. I was so mad at this and then Nikki won the next day and I calmed down. But no, because I feel like they're gonna rob Nikki. There's a screw job in place, and it's a way, and they're gonna swerve it by saying, "Well, Nikki didn't get pinned and she didn't tap out, so it doesn't hurt Nikki." When in reality, it does hurt Nikki, but also the entire women's division as well. Like, everyone talks about Triple H having a shovel. Everybody talks about another gentleman that we're gonna get to later in the show having a shovel. But Charlotte's shovel seems to be conspicuously absent from conversation, which is what makes me even angrier. But against my better again, this is not about who I like. It's about who I think. And I think this is a way to get the Queen of Privilege another belt around her waist and rob Nikki and the women's division of any sort of growth. So once again, Charlotte brings the golden shovel to Vegas.
Booch, I sincerely don't understand all the hate, but you have a right to be wrong, and you're exercising that right rather well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's keep it moving here. We've talked about the first three. Let's move it on to the fourth and beyond as the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, taking on Mysterio and his son, Dominic. Booch, will the champs remain champs, or are we going to see new tag team SmackDown champions?
I 100% predict the Usos retain the titles. And I have a theory on how this is going to go down. They're going to win, and they're going to pin Rey Mysterio. And something's going to happen in the match that causes that, and Dominic's going to be pissed. And I think Dominic's going to turn on Rey. Dominic's going to snap. He's going to go his own way. And I don't know how far they're going to take it, but what I'd like to see them do, and I've talked about this before, is I think Dominic should turn heel and change his last name to Guerrero. Because those who may not remember, back in 2005, they had the whole custody Dominic, because Eddie Guerrero was the biological dad of Dominic.
Great gimmick.
So have Dominic say, as a Mysterio, I've been failing, but as a Guerrero, I'm going to win, or something like that. And I think that would be a great story.
I love where your head is there, and great callback. And that's why they call you the wrestling encyclopedia, Booch. It's amazing. Okay, cool. I just don't even care about the Usos anymore. Like I don't know. I don't feel any desire to follow them from a fan perspective. I'd kind of like to see new champions. And it's a good time to kind of explore this idea. I'd rather see what you said happen, but I'm going to go with the new champs. I think the Usos are losing, and Rey and Dominic are going to be new champions for SmackDown for the Blue Brand, baby.
All right. Well, as far as what I want to talk about next, I want to save the best for last, but I got to talk about this one. I love what's going on with Edge versus Seth Rollins. I think this is a great, amazing story. I love the callback to 2014 that they're using with where they had to where Seth Rollins threatened to stomp Edge into the ground. If you really think about it, if you look at it, that scenario played out so horribly because they couldn't do much too physical with Edge because back then his neck was messed up, so he wasn't allowed to take any bumps or be physically touched in any way. So now that he's 100%, we're going to see a real fight between them. The emotion's been great. The storytelling's been great. It's a real grudge match. And I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out who's going to walk out with this. But I think because Edge has taken two big losses already, I think he's going to win this one to keep himself relevant. But it wouldn't shock me if Seth won either, because then that could catapult him to the Universal Championship. But I feel like this rivalry is going to go on for a while. So I'm going to go with Edge.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Edge too.
Right.
Although there's no title at stake here, I would love to see Edge save a little bit of face. I feel like he should be champion right now. And I think there's still room for that in the future. I hope at least that he'll have a chance at Stardom again, the Rated R Superstar. Sheamus and Damian Priest, a singles match for the United States Championship. Booch, I probably couldn't care less about how this match turns up, but I would like to see Damian Priest kind of develop his character a little more. He reminds me of like a hybrid. It's like a kind of like the American Badass, but with a gothic kind of feel and approach to him. I'd like to see them explore his lighter side a little bit and kind of express that in some promotional material. I'd like to see him with some opportunities to get a cheap pop with easy jokes. I feel like he could kind of do that. But he also has the size and believability to really develop as a wrestler with WWE. So although I know they're ultimately going to squander his talent, I'm going to go with Damian Priest to win this match.
I'm going to do the same only because I haven't seen much with Sheamus do much with the U.S. title since taking it from Deuce Riddle.
Excuse me, you broke up. You said, yeah. Did you?
Yes, and unfortunately they didn't. But anyway, but yeah, I like to see because Sheamus isn't doing much with it, so give it to Damian Priest. He deserves the push. I think there is some talent in him, and I think he's improving dramatically. So I say Damian Priest.
Right on. We agree on that one. Let's take a look here at the aforementioned, I think you said Deuce Riddle. It's actually Matt Riddle. And he's teaming up with Randy Orton because they are RK Bro. Oh, I love it. I can't get enough of this guy. He's amazing. They take on Styles and Omos, the current champions, for the Tag Team Raw Championships. Booch, I'm excited about RK Bro. He's the original Bro. He's teaming up with a Viper. And these two work so well together. You know what it reminds me of, Booch? It reminds me of the Rock and Sock connection. And it worked. And this works. And I love how they're not giving it all to us at once. How there's some resistance there from Randy Orton. He's kind of like he walks alone kind of mentality. He's the Viper. You don't try to turn your back, you get RKO'd, and he's almost been there, and he's been there. So, but I love the gimmick. And listen, I'm going to call it right now. We're going to have new Raw Tag Team champions Saturday night.
I hate to say it, but I agree. It's going to be RK Bros winning this because I don't see Styles and Omos. They haven't done much of the tag titles either. And I do know if they lose, AJ Styles is getting pinned in some capacity because they're not going to. Omos is not going to take a pinfall or a submission. So it's going to be Styles. And I feel like they're going to ride this RK Bro thing for a while, and I don't mind it because if Riddle's a tag team champion, it keeps him away from the singles gold. So put a tag belt on him, let him go play with Randy Orton, and let the real stars make the money. So, and that's all I gotta say about that.
Hate tweet, hate follow. That is what Booch is. I can't understand how you don't like this guy. I can understand maybe to an nth of a degree why you feel the way you do about Charlotte Flair. But what has this guy done to you? He's like the ultimate bro. I literally kicked off my flip-flops as you were talking about him. And I just thought, Booch, you need to let go, relax, unwind. This guy is the truth. And I love his ability to brawl. I love his ability to grapple, submission holds, and he's also dynamite on the mic. He's exactly what Vince wants right now.
Dynamite, he sounds like a 12-year-old.
No, he does not, Booch. Yes, he does not.
Dude, that's literally, he speaks how 10-year-olds speak.
Wait, I thought he was 12. Now he's 10?
10, 12, I don't know. They're all kids to me. So 10, 12, they're still minors. My point is, every time he gets a problem, like if somebody makes fun of him, he goes, "Oh, like what are you 12? Grow up." It's like, you don't want to be my friend anymore. I'm like, get this off my TV. This guy sounds like a 10-year-old.
He just wants to be your bro. There's nothing wrong with a guy who can admit he just wants friends. And Randy is a good friend to have. Let's be honest. Around that locker room, you got to have protection. It makes sense. It makes sense. And let's be honest, he's selling merch. So there's that. And we're at a point.
I would love to see the merch numbers. I've yet to see anyone in a Matt Riddle anything.
Yeah, nobody's seeing anybody anywhere. I can, you know what? If you have challenge, if you can find the data, I guarantee you they'll be in the top 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And also let's look at it from a wrestling perspective, apart from the marketing standpoint. Randy Orton's at a point in his career where he's not going to be a perennial chaser anymore. He'll be in a triple threat match. He'll, they may book him for one of the big 4, but everybody knows this dude ain't winning it, or he's winning by disqualification, but he's not going to carry the torch. Riddle is the next ambassador for Vince's version of WWE. He like knows what to say. He like represents the culture well, and that resonates with the crowd. And people want to get behind that. Like, everybody knows his past. He likes to get down. And there's a subsect of wrestling culture that shares that, point of view. So it's really obvious. If you look at what he's doing, it works. I guarantee you that when he comes on, the market share goes up. Number 1 trend, I guarantee it when he gets on. RK Bro is something like that on Twitter. As soon as when he comes down with his scooter, it's amazing. And they use augmented reality. I love the experience. I love it. And he's great in the ring. And I know you don't like him, but bro, like, loosen up, That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, but I think they win. And I agree with you. There's no way that Omos takes an L right now. They're not going to bury him this early because John Cena's not on the other side of the ring. So there's that. Speaking of John Cena, somebody told me, a little birdie told me, he's taking on Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Listen, let's talk a little bit about this from the viewpoint and angle of fans, but also, is John Cena really going to come back and win a championship? And if he does, is he going to be at every single Raw like he should be, like the old Cena was?
Honestly, since Cena's come back, he has shown he's not missed a step verbally. I think the promo between him and Roman this last Friday was phenomenal. And there is no doubt in my mind that this Saturday at SummerSlam, he breaks Ric Flair's record. This match is going to end 1, 2, 3. Cena is becoming the Universal Champion and is going to make it the 17th time because A, he deserves it, and B, Roman has run through everyone. They made it very clear. Cena's the only one that can knock him down a peg because he's beaten every credible star there is. I believe as far as a Universal Champion is gone, Roman has done everything he can with that belt. And I believe that his gimmick can survive without it. I think Cena winning this title is going to help. It's going to give him the accolade that he richly deserves because he is the WWE. With the exception of Vince McMahon and Triple H, nobody loves that company more than him. And unlike the Nature Boy, all of Cena's 16 titles, soon to be 17, were in WWE. The only reason Ric Flair, and here's encyclopedia knowledge right here. The only reason Ric Flair is acknowledged as a 16-time champion is because WWE bought WCW. Because he had only 2 championship reigns in WWE. His other 14 were in WCW. And there was a period of time in WCW where Flair was on the booking committee. In fact, he was the booker.
I don't think it's fair to assert that he would necessarily put himself in championship matches just because it's him, right?
Wenz, he was the booker during 1990. He held the belt for most of 1990.
Honest
Do the math.
mistake. My honest mistake. He probably drew a few names out of the hat. He may have accidentally put his name in there a couple times. It happens.
I'm just saying, like, Ric Flair was, that's the only reason Cena still held all his belts in WWE. He deserves it. He deserves this accolade. So you give it to him, you let him hold it for as long as he can, and then maybe Seth Rollins takes it later down the road. And you give a push to him. Like Cena, I think that beating John Cena and taking that title from him, somebody else down the line, would do bigger.
Right.
I mean, beating the tribal chief is good. Beating John Cena is way better.
I'm going with Roman Reigns. I think he's going to win this match. I think they're really hyping it up, but there's no way that Cena's going to win this championship.
Okay.
No way. Well, we got to wrap it up here. Let's power hour this. We've gone through most of them, but we still have a couple to prepare for here. Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, taking on Sasha Banks, the Boss, singles match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Bianca Belair is going to retain. Sasha's not winning this match. Booch, what say you?
I agree. Bianca, I believe this is her time. I love Sasha as a heel. I love the fact that she's switching it up. But I think Bianca's time is still here. It's not time for her to lose again.
All right. Talk about it. We got two more. We have a singles match as Little Miss Bliss takes on Eva Marie with Doudrop at her side. And just a singles match. Booch, they made a big to-do about the return of Eva Marie. I don't know. I like Doudrop a lot. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Nia Jax in her style and in her delivery, which I think the WWE needs more of. It would also be a lot of fun if they started a faction of bigger girls. That would be a really smart thing to do from a marketing standpoint. And can you imagine, like, a good share of the audience already is in that camp, right? So acknowledge it and own it and turn some profit on it.
Yeah.
That would be really fun to do. For me personally, I think Eva Marie wins this match with some help from Doudrop. But what do you think?
I think Bliss is winning. And I got a feeling that Doudrop, by the way, her name is Piper Niven, is not going to be part of this for very long. I don't know. Because Eva Marie, I like how she's doing her gimmick. People hate her already. Might as well pour gasoline on the fire. No one's happy to see her back. Nobody. Is that because, like, she has FU heat. Like, people do not have, she has go away, get off my TV screen heat. Mm-hmm. And she's using it to the best of her advantage. And I like the fact that Piper's helping her, but the fact they changed her name to Doudrop, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I feel that Alexa Bliss, since she's been handed Bray Wyatt's gimmick on a silver platter, you might as well give her a W to keep it going.
Yeah, no, that's good insight. The last match to discuss, Drew McIntyre taking on Jinder. Veer and Shanky are banned from ringside. It's obviously going to play into this match. Booch, I'm going to go with Jinder Mahal here. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a great match, but I'm going to go with McIntyre.
And there you have it. I think we have many points of disagreement here. We're definitely going to have a champion. Maybe
yes.
A new champion. On the male soap opera moment. But friends, folks, family, countrymen, we never, ever like to leave an episode of the male soap opera moment without saying a couple key things. One of which is, have a nice day.
The other is, dang, dang.